What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Turf Talk. As you guys know, this show is presented by DSM Media. You can find us on Twitter at DSM_media. You can find us on every other network. Make sure if you are following us on Twitter, hit that link tree. You're going to find our merch. You're going to find our YouTube page. You're going to find our Instagram page, Facebook, TikTok, etc. We're on every single network. We're on every single platform. Make sure you're subscribed and following us so you can keep up with the giveaways, everything that we're doing over here at DSM Media. As you guys know, Turf Talk is brought to you with your hosts. I am Scotty. You can find me on Twitter at Scotty Drown. My co-host here, Dylan, at DylanJD98 on Twitter. Be sure to give us a follow if you like what we're doing here. Tonight, what we're going to get into, quick Cowboys-Eagles recap. We'll get into a quick Week 1 recap.
Week three.
Excuse me. My goodness. Week 3 recap. We are 3 weeks into the NFL already, and it is blowing by. And then, of course, we'll get into the Bengals and Jags and a few other things tonight. My buddy Dylan here has a special ad read for us right now from our partners.
Yes, sir. Like Scotty said, Turf Talk, as always, is brought to you through DSM Media. And DSM Media is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with our promo code DSM at manscaped.com. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention the wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery life last longer. Get 20% off and free shipping with code DSM at manscaped.com. Again, that is 20% off and free worldwide shipping at manscaped.com using our promo code DSM. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. And Scott, as I said earlier in the week, if your guys' balls feel like they were kicked up into your stomach after watching that Eagles massacre on Monday night, hit up our code at manscaped.com, code DSM, and give them a nice clean shave when they drop back down and you feel a little bit better. Because I'm still recovering.
Nuts, man, nuts. Something that the Birds did not have on Monday night when they stepped into Dallas in the AT&T Stadium. As I said earlier, we are going to dive straight into that Eagles-Cowboys game. We're going to get really quick with it. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. It was a miserable experience. Are we?
Because I'm pissed off, Scott. I'm still pissed off.
It hasn't set in. It hasn't settled down yet.
No.
Have you moved? Let me ask you this: have you moved on to KC yet, or are you still kind of dwelling in Dallas in the AT&T Stadium?
Okay, I'm not still in AT&T Stadium, but I don't think I'm mentally prepared for KC yet in terms of not getting over Dallas, but for the fact that, oh my God, Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes are 1-2, and now we get them, and it's like, oh boy, things are really about to go south. But I digress, and then we will recap and react to Monday night's beatdown as best as we can for you guys. I know I talked about it earlier in the week, so I'm kind of just going to get it off my chest what I feel like again. But Scotty, this is his first time really getting a chance to let it all out, let that anger and disappointment out. So you can start us off, my man.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to start out with, I was a little bit. I didn't go too far over the top on Monday, but I was a little overreactive, just with a few things that I said. Obviously, I know we got to give Jalen Hurts time. We got to give him this season. We got to give Nick Sirianni this season, right? He'll probably get longer than that, I would hope, or something is going drastically wrong. But we got to give these guys time to build chemistry, get this stuff together. But going into Dallas, week 3, my emotions are involved. Part of me did feel like we could go into Dallas and beat them. Foolery on me, right? Like that was foolish of me, I guess. But either way, when you go into a game like that against Dallas in the NFC East, an NFC East rival, I do not expect us to get our doors blown off for one. But the way it happened, right? The lack of discipline, the lack of preparation for a huge game like that, like it didn't make much sense to me. I know we'll get into it here, but just a few takeaways. Nick Sirianni, man, what is going on? And this is, I'm going to bring up something here that maybe we wait until Sunday to talk about it when we preview the Kansas City game, but there is no way you go into a game and only run the ball 3 times total with your running backs, 2 times with the best offensive skill player on the team in Miles Sanders. And part of me, I'm not going to lie to you, as I've started, digressing from Monday and really thinking about it, it does. It feels like it's coming straight from Jeff Lurie. It feels like it's coming straight down the chain. And that's something we'll get into later. That's, a bit of a conspiracy theory almost. But, I just don't see the trends. I know Nick Sirianni didn't call the complete offense in Indy. I know he wasn't making all the play calls there with Frank Reich, but they ran the ball steadily. And it really benefited Phillip Rivers, obviously, who was an older quarterback. And they're not doing it here. And I'm not understanding. I'm not comprehending. What were your thoughts on that? I can guess them, but share how you felt about the game plan in total.
I think he panicked. Now that a couple of days have gone by and I thought about it, I think they got down early. He was scratching and clawing to find a way to push the ball down the field. Now that's no excuse, but I do think that he panicked. My main issue with the game plan as of right now is like you said, I didn't think it had ever been done in NFL history to run the ball 3 times. To, like you said, Miles Sanders is probably the Eagles. Not probably. He is the Eagles' best skill position player. The Eagles had the second best run blocking offensive line. They were second in the NFC in the rushing attack after week 2, and number 2. I'm sorry, the best in the NFC after week 2, and number 2 in the entire NFL with their rushing attack going into week 3. And you just completely abandoned it. And then your response after is that you guys count your RPOs as run plays. Now, Nick, you need to make that make sense. You've done a good job of explaining football so far in your pressers. You need to explain that one a little bit more. Here's my issue, my takeaway from the game plan. I got a lot to say, Scott, so that's why when I said quick, we'll try as quickly as we can. But my issue with the game plan is, what if he doesn't have a plan B and a plan C? Week 1, plan A worked. He didn't have to go off script. He didn't have to, plan A's not there. Let me go to plan B. Game 2 against the 49ers. Really a lack of adjustments, right? He just kept trying to throw the ball down the field, throw the ball down the field, throw the ball down the field, even when Hurts was struggling and it wasn't there. Week 3. Well, we know what just happened. So what my biggest fear, and I'm not saying it's the case, but my biggest fear right now is that he's got a plan A and he doesn't have a plan B, C, or D. So when you hear him after games, when something's not working, when you hear him give all the credit due to the defense, San Fran did a really good job of taking this away. Dallas did a really good job of taking this away. San Fran really took the middle of the field away. No, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you that's your job to find a way to make things work. So my fear on the game plan is, if plan A is not there, I don't know if he's got a backup or two to adapt and adjust in game.
Yeah. And, to your very good point there, you saw during that second half, eventually the play sheet was in the offensive coordinator Shane Steichen's hands. And it did appear that he was calling plays in that second half. That's speculation. I don't know if that was actually confirmed or not. But what I'm looking at, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And the thing about RPOs, they don't work if you don't run the damn ball. They just simply don't work.
That's what I said earlier.
A fake to a running back if you haven't handed it off to him the entire game. You can't run play action. You can't get Jalen Hurts out of the pocket mobile. That's one thing the Cowboys did. They contained Jalen Hurts in the running game as well, which nobody has been able to do this season.
Scott, the running game opens up everything. Now, I'm not one of those guys suggesting that if they ran the ball, they simply would have won, or if you run the ball X amount of times, you find success. I'm not saying that. But you know what the running game does do? It opens up those RPOs as you suggested. What's the point of an RPO if they know every single time it's not going into Miles Sanders' chest, right? It keeps your defense off the field a little bit. They're not going right back on the field after they get their ass kicked from the opening drive. When you got first-time starters of Landon Dickerson and Andre Dillard in the game, maybe don't have them drop back in pass protection over and over and over again. Instead, do what this offensive line does best and get your hand in the ground, get your foot in the ground, and go north-south and run block. It opens up the play action for Jalen Hurts. It opens up everything.
Everything.
And you completely ignored it. Dude, Doug Peterson found ways to run the ball more. The Dallas Cowboys week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, legitimately, their game plan was to not run the ball against Tampa. And they ran the ball more than Nick Sirianni did on Monday night. Like, you have to try, Scott, to only run the ball 3 times. And it's mind-boggling to me. That's just keeps coming up. Mind-blowing, mind-boggling. Just that he thought that was a good idea.
It's completely mind-boggling. And, the other side of it is that while you're watching Dallas go on the field on offense, and they're running the ball down our damn throat. So you're watching it happen on the other end, and you're still not adjusting. Jalen Hurts had a very shaky first half, and you come out and you throw the ball 3 times in a row. And
the second drive, Scott, the second damn drive. The kid comes out, underthrows a deep ball on the opening possession when you're already down 7-0. He underthrows it. It's a pick. You score. Your defense allows, I'm pretty sure, or no, then your defense gets a stop on your own 1-yard line.
Save your ass.
And you come out, and I'm almost positive. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did run it the first play. I don't think he did, though. I'm pretty sure after the defense got the stop on the goal line on 4th down, he dropped Jalen Hurts back there all 3 times, that entire possession. So you thought after your young quarterback in a high-intensity game who threw an interception on the first possession, you thought it was a good idea on inside his own 5 to drop him back 3 times in a row and not defer to Miles Sanders once. Like, you're this football mind, right, Nick? You're the football guy here. Why is it that we see it and you can't? Yeah, that's what first play was a 5-yard. Yep. Here's the other thing, Scott. I said this the other day, talking about the game plan and just overall defense too. Me and you aren't analysts. We're not football aficionados. We come on here, we give our thoughts, right? We know football pretty well, but we're not experts by any stretch of the imagination. When you and I, or when I and Gint on Faithful Fanatics, give our keys to victory for the Eagles, what would they need to do to be successful to win a game? And the Eagles do the polar opposite of almost every single key to the game we give, and it results in a blowout loss. That's my issue, right? When we say slow down the run, no, you got gashed for 8 or 9 yards every single carry. Run, Miles, run is something I said on Monday night. He got 2 carries. Don't shoot yourselves in the foot. You showed up unprepared and turned the ball over. Win the turnover battle. You lost the turnover battle. Every single thing we pointed out that might be a good idea to do, they did the opposite.
And don't
That's
forget
the mind-numbing part to me.
Don't forget the 7 illegal men downfield penalties.
But that's coaching as well, Scott.
I mean, they're leading the NFL in penalties.
It's because what happens is it was even pointed out on the broadcast. In those RPO type of draw ups, if he keeps it to throw it, it's got to be like that because the offensive linemen are run blocking. They're already a couple yards down the field. So when he holds onto the ball and stretches plays out, like you saw with the Quez Watkins, like wheel route kind of, it's going to be an illegal man downfield every time. That's coaching. Know your personnel. Know your young quarterback. Drill that in his mind. But he hasn't yet. He has.
We got some comments coming in on Twitter. I just want to let the Twitter, if you guys are watching us on Twitter, haven't watched us in a while, the comments from Twitter are not shown on StreamYard here, so I am trying to keep up with them on the side here. But Gant hits it down here, 13 penalties, 12 first. You had more penalties than first downs. And then my boy Darius in the comments on Twitter, 35 penalties in 3 weeks.
Scott, they are on pace to break.
How do you win? How do you win like that?
They are on pace to break the record by like 50 or more penalties, dude, in a year. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's my point when it comes to Sirianni and this. Not just the game plan, right? This is what I said earlier. Not just the game plan. It's the fact that you were undisciplined, unprepared, like just so, I don't know, unmotivated almost out there. That's maybe a bigger issue than the fact that he only ran the ball 3 damn times. Oh, here's another thing. 0 plays with pre-snap motion. I don't know if that's ever been done in NFL history. Like the running thing, I thought maybe had never been done. Hasn't been done in 2 decades. First time the Eagles have ever done it. 0 snaps pre-motion in a league now where like that's a necessity. Why do you
1933 in Philadelphia with the
the defenses are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic now. Like the schemes are ridiculous. So you think you're just going to line up man to man, 1-on-1 every time and just move the ball down the field and score points? No, what? Why do you think Shanahan and McVay and Bieniemy and Kansas City and all these teams find so much success? Look at what they're doing, and you have 0 pre-snap motion. Now that's a pretty big thing, but also a pretty small thing. Now, we spent enough time talking about Nick Sirianni, unless there's anything else you want to talk about with the game plan.
I mean, we could go for days, but this guy, I mean, I want him to be successful. I want Jalen Hurts to be successful. He didn't, before we get into anything else, he didn't put Jalen Hurts in any type of situation to be successful, by the way.
No, he didn't.
You're not doing your rookie quarterback any favors in that situation. But yes, we can head to the next point. We can go all night about next year.
And my next point is that rookie quarterback. And you're right. Where was there maybe some overreaction, quick to pull the trigger after a bad performance? Yeah, sure. But he's very concerning to me right now. Now, listen, that bad loss doesn't declare him not the guy. Just like a good performance week 1 versus the Falcons doesn't make him the guy, right? But it's very concerning to me that the questions that football people have, that I saw and have, and that a lot of Eagles fans have had, keep coming up. The question marks of him as a thrower, as a passer, when he was in college, when he was going through his pre-draft stuff, when he was drafted here, right? All the mechanical questions, the arm strength, the accuracy, the footwork, everything like that, right? Not being a one-read quarterback, leaving the pocket too early. Scott, they're being put on full display still. Now, I'm not saying only his 7th game in means that that's just who he is going forward.
Yeah.
However, it's very worrying to me that the footwork's still off, that he's telegraphing passes, that he's just locking into one receiver and following him with his eyes the entire time, that his arm doesn't look that strong, guys. Now, we tried to talk about timing after week 2 on the deep balls. Well, it's kind of hard to talk about that. And then the next week, on the 3rd throw of the game, you underthrow a ball by a country mile for an interception when you were moving down the field in 2 plays. You know what my issue is, Scott? He threw the ball in the one spot he couldn't put it. You could have led them to the ball to catch. You could have overthrown them to the back of the end zone. You could have thrown it to the pylon and put it out of bounds. I don't believe there was safety help coming or anybody over the middle, so you could have thrown it a little deep into the middle of the field, incompletion. The one spot you couldn't put it was underthrown, and it's exactly what you did. Now, did Jalen Reagor make an attempt to come back to the ball and play D-back a little bit? No, he didn't. But guess what? That's not Jalen Reagor's damn job.
He's not Alshon Jeffrey.
No, okay? So instead of deflecting blame off the quarterback and trying to put it on Jalen Reagor, well, why didn't he come and play defensive back and stop the receiver from catching it? How about you make the throw, Jalen, like the other Jalen, right? So that's my biggest concern, right? I'm not saying he's not the guy, but if my question to people is for everyone that, argued with me at the end of last season because they already anointed him the franchise quarterback and his work ethic and his leadership ability and people follow this guy, right? That stuff is extra. What comes first is your performance on the field. I don't give a damn about the leadership and about the work ethic if he's not producing at an NFL level playing quarterback. And right now, he's not. So my question to people is, aside from the characteristic stuff, what has he done to make you believe he's the guy? I'm not saying I don't believe he can be the guy, but he hasn't shown me a damn thing to say he's the guy. Yeah. And you guys are in my phone, in my mentions, texting me, calling me when I'm out with people, coming at me about my opinions of him after he beat the Atlanta Falcons. Where are you guys at now?
Yeah. And just funny comment came in. George, our buddy George.
Yeah.
He'll say it for you, Dylan. He's not the guy. And George is standing firm on his point. And I understand where he's coming from. He's calling him the Tyrod Taylor 2.0. And, I'm hoping not. Because, I get why everybody, the leadership and the off the field stuff, that's great. And that's part of what you want, right? In any athlete, right? But he has to do the stuff on the field, and that's what matters. Right. At the end of the day, you can be the best leader in the world, Tim Tebow, and you won't make it in the NFL.
We haven't found a happy medium, right? Okay, obviously leaving 2020 out of it because his play on the field was awful. But pre-2020, the thing with Carson Wentz was great on the field, personality-wise, maybe in the locker room, he's not a great leader, blah, 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 right? And you're still kind of hearing some things about that in Indianapolis. So we got the field part pre-2020. We don't got the leader part, let's say. We don't know what's true and what's not, but that's the word, right? Yeah. Now, we got the leader part down, and we're not seeing the production on the field. Now, you're right. Nick Sirianni has not put him in the best position yet.
Yeah.
Especially in week 3. That's the more recent memory, right? Did not put him in the best position right now. And Phil said something on Eagles Aftermath after the game of when he saw his body language and looked at his eyes late in the game, he was just kind of scared. No, that's true, and that's not a good sign. However, let me ask you, if you're Jalen Hurts, and before that play call even gets into your helmet, into that headset, you're dropping back to throw the ball. You're like, pass, 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 and you're struggling. How would you feel? How would you look? So I'm trying to cut the kid some slack, but I'm telling you now, I'm not saying he has to beat the Chiefs. It's not happening, but he's got to show up versus the Chiefs offensively. And we're not going to talk about that tonight. That's Sunday's conversation. But him and Nick Sirianni damn sure better show up on Sunday. And my last point, and I'll let you finish up with Jalen Hurts, and this is just my overall takeaway from the game is this, Scott. Obviously, it's a little more disheartening and embarrassing because it is the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. It was Dallas week. It was Monday Night Football, and you got embarrassed like that. So that the loss itself hurts more than most. But before the year started, we didn't pick them to win the division. We didn't have high expectations. Growing pains, learning year. It's not about the wins and losses. It's how you get to those wins and losses, right, George? My issue is they are going down a downward slope right now, a downward trajectory. It's like you started at the top of the mountain week 1, blowout win, took care of business. Everyone looked great. No complaints. Week 2, started pretty good, didn't adjust, couldn't move the ball, got held to 11 points, but the defense looked really good. You hung in there. You shot yourselves in the foot. So a little bit worse than week 1. And now week 3, it's like you fell flat on your face.
Yeah.
And that's my issue. Instead of seeing progression and growth and improvement from week to week, we're seeing the polar opposite from the two guys we're evaluating in Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. They're getting worse as the weeks go on. It's early as hell. I'm not saying it won't turn around, but right now, what we can evaluate is that they're going on a downward trajectory right now. And that's not, I can't accept that when it comes to how they're getting to wins and losses. I can't accept undisciplined leaguing penalties. I can't accept that as part of this year. I won't accept it.
Yeah, no, you are spot on. And just to kind of feed off of your Jalen Hurts, you mentioned the underthrowing of that first interception, and just the stress that Jalen Hurts was under. Phil mentioned that he looked scared in his eyes. He is a rookie quarterback, if you want to call him that. Like you said, that's not only stressing him physically, like if he's having to get out on the run every time, if he's worried about a defensive lineman coming down on his back or on his legs every time. It is mentally exhausting to have that much of the offense rely on you. It is mentally exhausting for a quarterback that is not that experienced in the NFL to have that much on his shoulders. Nick Sirianni was putting the weight of like a Patrick Mahomes on Jalen Hurts. And he's not that guy. He's never going to be that guy. We'll get that straight right now. He's never going to be anything close to that guy. But the thing for me, you mentioned the concerns with the throwing power. And mind you, I'm thinking about guys like Michael Vick who, fuck the footwork. This man flicks the wrist and it goes 60, 70 yards. Like, that is what it is. He's probably never going to be that guy that can just flick his wrist and toss it down the field, whatever. You look across the middle of the field, Goddard's running wide open.
Did you see the Devontae Smith screenshots this morning? Someone put out about 4 different shots of Devontae Smith with big separation. And it honestly made me feel a little bad about my comments on Tuesday's show about, are these wide receivers, not getting separation. Well, maybe he's just missing them because he's locked in on one read. Again, issue.
Yeah. And I told you what I saw in week 2. There was guys seeing down the middle of the field, wide open against San Francisco, missing them. Yes, and Adam hits it right here. McNabb could throw too. So we have experience. These guys aren't the best quarterbacks in the world. We have seen guys that can throw the football. Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts has not made a throw that is even comparable to Carson Wentz's best throws. He has not made one of those signature throws.
I don't know if it's not just distance though, Scott. It's not. Gant brought up a good point.
It's zip.
He throws like he's got a noodle attached to his arm. Like it's nothing is put in there. Nothing's. I don't know. Gant's saying it now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to declare it because I don't want that to be the case. But I'll tell you, I'm
not going to lie
right now. It's not good right now.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, I feel that. I feel what Gant is saying. I'm not going to say it. I'm just not going to say it because I do want to support Jalen Hurts. I am an Eagles fan before I'm a sports analyst, before I'm anything. I'm going to support Jalen Hurts this season. I want him to be successful, but there are major concerns. And you mentioned it, the noodle in the arm, the zip, and there's just none of that. And you see these throws that are supposed to go through tight – they're not going through tight windows.
No, they're not. And he's missing open guys. That Goddard throw, dude, listen, please stop it with, the Goddard should have caught it. Maybe.
He should have, but that's his fault.
But – he didn't have anyone within 20 yards of him, and he had about 25 more yards of open green grass to get to. And you made it to where he maybe should have caught it. His outstretched arms, it hit his fingertips. So let's,
Goddard's a huge guy, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got a little sidetracked. I'm on a different laptop right now because I'm having.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying Goddard is a huge guy for you to be missing him by his fingertips. Like he is a huge human being at the tight end position.
Well, it's a bad throw.
My thing, and it's like we're having this thing again where there's like protectors and then guys on. It's like we have to split, right? We can't just be objectively criticizing. So on the second interception, that's all of a sudden Devontae Smith's fault. In what world? Even if he's
exactly. Should he have fallen? No. But either way, it's a pick or a pick six, regardless if he stays on his feet or not. Regardless.
Yeah, and right here, he's a second-round pick for a reason. He's a second-round pick for – I'm not agreeing with the Tyrese Maxey thing. Tyrese Maxey –
I saw that.
I'm not agreeing with that, but we're not even going towards the Sixers. But Jalen Hurts, man, I'm rooting for him, but the concerns are there. They've been there, and you just hope that they improve week to week.
This is my last point on it all. The San Fran game was a good defense, right? So you let the 11-point slide. Bad game, really good defense. They played out of their minds. We're talking about a Cowboys defense. Now, maybe it is that much improved. Maybe Dan Quinn has made a difference. Maybe Micah Parsons. Maybe the corner is that good, right? They lead the league in turnovers right now. But we're talking about a Cowboys defense that we as Eagles fans and people nationally mock and make fun of. And the reason they're not going to be contenders or the reason they might not win this bad division is because their defense is that bad. You made that defense look like a solid unit. That's my issue. If you can't show up versus them, now we got Kansas City, who, while you're not going to beat them most likely, you should be able to move the ball and put up points. You struggle against Kansas City, now we really got a problem because you can't move the ball and score points against lower level defenses in this league. So that was doing it against that defense wasn't good.
And George is in the comments say the Cowboys defense hasn't improved that much. The offense was simply putrid. And the last thing I'll say, I know we're ending this segment. It's never quick with the Eagles, especially after a loss like that.
No.
Jalen Hurts, once the offense started running and you started seeing those short throws in the second half, the offense was successful. The throws were on target because they were shorter. And for me, that's also not a good sign when you have to simplify it to the point where he's tossing the ball about, 5 yards ahead of him to Zach Ertz, and that's the biggest play of the game for the Eagles offense. That's not a good sign for me. I'll let it at that. I'm hoping for something impressive going into the Chiefs game. Obviously, we're not expecting a W. We just want to see some type of upgrade, some type of development, some type of growth in the discipline, in the game.
And be a little bit competitive and fun. That's all we asked for before the season started. And in at least last week, you weren't. The week before, I guess you were competitive, but you get my point. The last thing, and you brought up the fan base earlier. Why do we have to divide, right? Why can't we just analyze it and talk about it, right? I get there's different sides of the argument, but you know what happens now, right? Now we critique and we criticize off of what we see, and the enablers or the believers or whatever you want to call them, or the people that think we're hating because we're saying he didn't play good and doesn't look good right now. He'll go out, he'll beat up on he'll look good against the Chiefs. God, obviously I want them to win the game, but God help me if they actually do pull out a win, because as excited as I'll be, those idiots that I argue back and forth with are going to come. Oh, you see? Oh, okay.
Should have never doubted him.
Yeah, like it's a game-to-game thing. Right now, he's not playing good, bottom line. But you're right. It was never going to be quick and easy to talk about this loss. 35-plus minutes in, here we are. I don't feel any better. I
don't either.
Isaac Sayamalu's done for the year. Kayvon Wallace is out for a few weeks. Jordan Mailata's still not practicing. Rodney McLeod has practiced all week, though. Full participant today. Hopefully he's a go on Sunday.
Even Davion Taylor at this point, like we need linebacker help. I'm not saying he's the answer, but at least give us another body, another try.
And here's something we're going to talk about more on Sunday, but all the accountability, it's on me from Sirianni and Hurts, all the I got to be better, something that we liked hearing from Sirianni after the Niners loss. that means nothing to me if you don't clean those things up and perform better the next week.
I would have rather him come out in the post game press conference, not saying I need to be better, like, duh, yeah. Like, I would have rather him come out in the post game press conference and say, I don't even know how I only ran the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
That should have never happened. That's what I would have liked to hear. Like, maybe that's something that maybe coaches can't be that transparent. I'm not sure. But that's what I would have liked to hear. I don't know how I didn't get the ball into Miles Sanders' hands more than I did. That's simple to me. But like you said, none of it matters until you do it on the field. If you come out here against Kansas City and you try to go mano-a-mano with Patrick Mahomes, like if you come out here and try to go mano-a-mano with that Chiefs offense when it is so obvious that you need to run the ball, control time of possession, keep your
the Chiefs couldn't stop you right now running the ball, Scotty. So if he doesn't run the dang ball on Sunday, I'm going to rip my hair out. I'm going.
I feel you. I was going to rip it out against the Cowboys because we said the same damn thing. Run the ball, control time of possession, keep the ball out of Dak's hands. What happened? The Cowboys did it. They did it, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. We got to hope for the best going forward. Let's move on to the rest of week 3 and kind of recap here. As we do every week, we'll do a surprise and a disappointment from week 3. Obviously, we could go to the Eagles on disappointment at the last 2 weeks, right? But I'll go first with my surprise, and it kind of feeds into tonight's pregame show. My surprise was the Bengals over the Steelers. Now, I'm not saying that, there's no world where the Bengals beat the Steelers this year, that the Steelers are this almighty team in the AFC North. Nothing like that. But the way they beat them. They really simplified their game. Joe Burrow had an excellent game. Joe Mixon was very steady. Jamar Chase is doing his thing right now. They got an awesome connection going on. Continued right from LSU there. But Bengals come out, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-10. Ben Roethlisberger looks terrible. And the Bengals defense looks all right. They look solid, right? And you're looking at that division. Obviously, it's the Browns, but where do the Bengals fall in that division with the Ravens so beat up? Joe Burrow's looking healthy. We'll get into more of the Bengals tonight, but Joe Burrow's looking healthy.
I love Joey B.
Love me some Joey Burrow.
By the way, this is very off topic, but if you're still watching, remember that Lamar Jackson conversation we had a couple weeks ago? And I included Derek Carr in the list of quarterbacks better than Lamar Jackson, and I was laughed at. I want a written apology because Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders lead the league in passing and among other statistics and are undefeated right now, and Lamar Jackson is barely beating the Detroit Lions. Okay, so I want a written apology for that. My surprise, though, is speaking of these Kansas City Chiefs, Justin Herbert and the Chargers taking it to Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs. Ballsy call late in the game to seal the deal. Turn the Chiefs over 4 times. Mahomes throws 2 interceptions. Hill and Edwards-Helaire fumble. Edwards-Helaire fumbles for the 2nd straight week. Herbert tosses 4 tutties, and they hold the Chiefs to 24. They're good, man. They are really good. They are a disciplined game away from being 3-0 because they were very undisciplined against the Cowboys. They lost that game by a last-second field goal. How many touchdowns did they score that were called back or had big plays called back because of penalties? They're that away from being 3-0. Their defense looks really good. Derwin James is healthy. I think he got banged up in the game, but he came back in. They look really good. And what's crazy to me is that, after week 1, I had said to you, the thing with Mahomes is none of these other quarterbacks, after Baker lost to him, it was none of these AFC quarterbacks have beaten him in a meaningful game yet. Deshaun came close before, but that was it. Lamar just did it, and now Herbert just did it.
Yeah.
The Chargers are good, dude.
What's going on? And, it's funny you bring up that game because Chiefs, that's my disappointment of the week. You mentioned it. Obviously, the Chargers are a pretty good team. The Chiefs are at the bottom of the AFC West right now, which is insane. But they got a great division going on out there with the Raiders. The Raiders are 3-0, I believe. The Broncos, I'm not exactly sure what the Broncos are, but they are
3-0, I believe, aren't they?
Yeah.
They might be 2-0, but I think they're 3-0. I mean,
and then the Chargers are 2-1. So the Chiefs are sitting at 1-2. But you're looking at the Chiefs. You can't drop games against your division opponents, especially the way that they're doing it. Their defense looks ridiculously bad, and then on top of it, you have your key players on offense turning the ball over consistently. They're at the top of the league in turnovers right now, and that's not a good look. So part of that. Obviously, we're just waiting for them to bounce back. This is the perfect week for them to bounce back against an Eagles team that looked lost on Monday. But man, the Chiefs have been disappointing so far. Just the mental mistakes, right? Even against Cleveland, they could easily be 0-3 right now. Let's be honest. The Cleveland Browns had control of that entire game in Week 1. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
What are we saying if the Chiefs are 0-3 right now?
I know.
That's insane to think about.
I just think it shows that they're vulnerable. Like they are beatable. About to be 1-3. I mean,
by Sunday we will have that. I know I can speak for myself. In my head, I'll be thinking there is a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That happens to me every Sunday, every Monday, whatever the case may be.
Just runs the ball.
Right. If he just runs the ball, we have a chance. Keep it out of Mahomes' hands. Yeah. But no, I expect, the Chiefs to bounce back eventually, but definitely not a great start for a team that is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender here. And they're falling behind in their division, and that's not a good look either. But just to touch on your one thing with the Chargers and the discipline thing, it's just a funny thing that I thought about here because the whole game against the Cowboys, I'm sitting here watching the Cowboys taunt right in the Eagles players' faces. I mean, I remember specifically Trayvon Diggs running into Jalen Hurts' face after he makes a pass deflection down there. We're in, our own side of the field there. And he's out here making cutthroat, signature moves.
Well,
he's out here rubbing the spoon. What is taunting? I need to know. Does it only apply to teams that are playing Dallas?
So here's the answer. I don't know. We don't know. And the refs don't know. They don't know what's what. They just call. I watched a play.
And it's a ridiculous penalty. It is ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they should call that, but they shouldn't call it at all.
Well, exactly. Like, what is taunting then? Because it shouldn't be a thing. Because then you're taking the fun out of the game, right? You're taking the kid like whatever you want to call it. You're taking that out of the game. But here's my thing. We complain about NBA refs a ton. We complain about MLB umpires a ton. NFL refs are getting up there now too, and it's like the Cowboys game. It's not a taunting play. But the 1 3rd down throw when we were still kind of in the game, I think it was a 13-point game at that point. I think it was to Wilson. I don't even know if he got his first 5 toes in. He barely got his first foot in, and he was out of bounds by a mile after that. And the side judge, who's literally
he's right there
2 feet away from the play, watching the play happen, calls it a catch. What are we doing here, guys?
And we have to use our challenge.
If Nick Sirianni if the Eagles don't throw that red flag in time because Dallas is trying to hurry up and get the playoff, I get there's close calls and challenges coming. Like, can you get the flag out in time? This is like, my God, what are you watching? And then the other ump comes up and they talk about it and they still call it a catch. What are we doing here, guys?
And my biggest thing about it is then you have the ref, come on the broadcast and say, the line judge needs to be out ahead of the play. He was.
Yeah.
He was looking right at it.
Oh, don't even get me started about that, dude. You had the ref on ESPN come on the goal line stop and say, well, it feels like a touchdown.
Feels like a touchdown in my stomach.
You want a cookie for that? But I didn't know it. If it feels like a touchdown, it is. And not one of the broadcasters talked about his forward momentum being stopped. Dak was sitting there for 45 minutes before he picked the ball up and stretched it across the goal line, and none of them talked about it. No, but whatever. I'm not gonna.
And the last thing, I know you got to give your disappointment there. If you're gonna call the taunting, why are the defensive players allowed to do like full team dances? Like I'll leave it at that. Like, and the Eagles do it too. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing to me. Just so much inconsistency between the rules. It makes zero sense.
No, it makes no sense. But my disappointment for Sunday, it's funny. It's going to go off of your surprise. And it's not necessarily, I mean, it is the Steelers because even though they were like the worst 11-0 team in NFL history last year, and they lost in the first round to the Browns, and I don't think they're very good anyway. I expected them to be better than this. And then they beat the Bills week 1.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the Steelers. It's a guy who I've grown up watching play the quarterback position. And I would just like to take a moment to say to him that it's time to hang it up, Ben. Yeah. Mid-season, maybe, just to stop the pain. Just what's been a two-time Super Bowl champion. Keep the good memories in people's minds. Did you see some of the videos and clips from that game, Scott? Did you see him running away and just like flipping the ball and then falling flat on his face for no reason in slow motion? Scott, I don't know what he's doing. He's 38 completions, over 300 yards, two picks, 4 sacks. Did he fumble? I don't even know if he fumbled. No, he didn't fumble in the game. He looks awful, and it's like you need to get out before it's too late.
Yeah,
and you stuck around a wee bit too long.
Yeah.
And Slim Ben isn't working. If anything, it's making them it's making them slower. I don't know. So it's not just the Steelers are disappointing so far this year. You lose to the Bengals 24-10 at home. Like they're embarrassing, but he needs to hang it up. Big Ben Roethlisberger is my disappointment. Is my disappointment for week 3.
Simply put. And one thing I just wanted to add into that game, somehow Najee Harris had 14 receptions for over 100.
Just real
for a damn running. I mean, whatever.
Real quick, we got a few more things to get through on today's show. And we will be touching on tonight's Jaguars Bengals game for all you Jags fans and Bengals fans out there that we know.
Who dey?
These Thursday games got to get better, man. But just a little pigskin picks review. Obviously, we didn't have our Sunday show, so I tweeted them out from the account. Now, listen, if you feel or if the people feel like I cheated the system a bit, I'll happily take off my upset for the week. But they were a 1-point dog, and it's the champ. So Scotty was 1-1 on the week. He had the Dolphins as an upset, almost freaking pulled it off, by the way, without Tua. And he had the Cardinals at his lock going 1-1. I went 2-0, almost lost my lock if Justin Tucker doesn't make history.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of refs,
yeah,
there was about a 5-second delay a game in that Ravens call on that drive.
Wild.
And my upset was the Rams. So I was 2-0. I feel kind of like seeing the result of the game. I feel like I slighted you because I did pick that as an upset, and it's like, was it an upset? I don't know. I'll let you decide. I'll let people decide.
Hey, we don't make the odds. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And the fact that the LA Rams literally obliterated the Buccaneers, I got to give you some credit for that alone. So I'm cool with it. And I may need to go back down that road myself at some point down the season just to catch up. But
Sunday, Scotty's going to give a lock, and then he's going to be like, Chiefs lock. I mean, upset. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But some updated so our updated rankings, right? I have them here. On Thursday nights, we are both 3-0. And then overall, including Thursday nights on the year, I'm 8-1, and Scotty's 7-2. So we are neck and neck heading into tonight's game.
This will be interesting tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to say we probably are predicting the same here, but we'll get to that in a minute. Before we get to tonight's matchup, I do want to update our top 5 power rankings. I'll just start it off right here. At number 1, I do have the team that I picked to go to the Super Bowl, the team that I picked to upset the Bucs this year. Last week, it is the LA Rams. They look damn near unbeatable.
Yeah.
People talked about the Bucs going undefeated. Now I know that's that division. The Rams aren't going to go undefeated,
Right.
but they, from top to bottom on that roster, both sides of the ball, coaching, everything, they look amazing. We know what the defense is with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but what we talked about all season long, and we weren't the only people. I'm not like we were breaking news with a hot take here, but I loved that Matt Stafford fit in LA with McVay.
Yeah.
And my God, it's on full display
It's
through
beautiful.
3 weeks. Deshaun Jackson's flashing back to 2013.
That's what happens when he's not wide receiver 1 for your squad, right? Like,
yeah,
he's not
that's true. That is true. I mean, Cooper Kupp is putting up numbers right now. Higbee's getting involved, and they don't even have Cam Akers for the year, or they didn't have Darrell Henderson last week. They look awesome. McVay and Stafford are locked in together.
You have to imagine
and Robert Woods hasn't even gotten going yet.
He hasn't. And you have to imagine Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford are just ecstatic. Like, Sean McVay doesn't have to deal with Jared Goff anymore.
And Stafford's not in the truth.
Doesn't have to deal with the Cubs anymore.
Right.
The Detroit Cubs.
There you go. The Cubs. There we go. I got it going. But go ahead, man. Who you got number 1 on your list?
Oh, I'm with you. LA Rams all the way. And I think I had them number 1 last week. I'm pretty sure. They are looking solid all over the field. They were able to go out there with their defense and basically shut down a Tampa Bay offense. I know Tampa Bay got going a little bit down the stretch, but Tampa Bay's a pretty good offense with Tom Brady and all those weapons. The Rams looked fantastic. We're going to get to see them up against another strong test this weekend against the Arizona Cardinals. But for right now, LA Rams, my number 1 team right there.
All right, at number 2, I got the Bucs. They were my number 1 heading into last week. They were the champs. They were the top dog. You are top dog until you get knocked off. They got knocked off last week, but I'm not going to drop them anywhere below 2. I think that might have been your preview of the NFC Championship game. I hope for a better overall game, but that's my number 2, and you have them as well.
I have them as the number 2 squad there as well. The NFC, the NFC is looking pretty loaded right now at the top. But I do agree with you all the way. NFC Championship matchup, it looks like it's supposed to happen. Obviously, we'll see how the seeding plays out. But Tom Brady always plays better in the playoffs as well, so it'll be a better game. But yeah, we can leave it at that. Yeah. I got Tampa Bay number 2 as well.
All right, just to get through this a little quicker, I got the Buffalo Bills at 3. They did climb up my rankings after getting, just games like that happen. I feel like early in the year they got caught off guard. They played poorly against the Steelers, and they're just putting up points now. Josh Allen has thrown 9 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, or 8 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. He is unreal right now. Yeah. And they are my favorite in the AFC. And with the Chiefs looking how they're looking right now, obviously very early. But I got the Bills at 3.
It's funny. It's actually funny because after the first 2 weeks, they struggled a little bit in week 2 as well. Josh Allen didn't look great.
Yeah.
People started questioning Josh Allen, right? Like questioning, people call Eagles fans irrational, but people are questioning Josh Allen after 2 weeks of just, average play, right? Comes out, lights up Washington football team, who everybody thought coming into this year had a great defense, had an awesome front, one of the top 5 front sevens in the league. And the Bills just came out and blew their doors off. I don't have the Bills at number 3. I do have the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going NFC heavy right now with my top 3. But I'm loving what Kyler Murray's doing. It seems like he has unlimited weapons out there in Arizona. I mean, you're talking about A.J. Green that just went off in this last game. You still got DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk down the line, and we're not even talking about the dual threat ability of Kyler Murray, who's playing at an MVP level right up there. I think Matthew Stafford right now is the MVP. You'd be at the top of my rankings right now. And then Kyler Murray's right there, man, right there. And their defense looks pretty solid as well. This is going to be a big test, right? This weekend, you got 3-0 LA Rams versus 3-0 Arizona Cardinals. I believe Kyler Murray has never beat the LA Rams. Can he get that first dub against the LA Rams? Can he give them their first loss? It's going to be a huge matchup this weekend, but they're both in my top 3 power rankings right now.
That's funny, man. They are number 4 on my list. They struggled a bit against Minnesota. They struggled in the first half against the Jags. Yeah. So they definitely do have some concerns. But Kyler's numbers are in MVP form right now. Their defense outside of the Minnesota game has been really good this year. Yeah. They're getting after the quarterback. And, I mean, no complaints with them, dude. They got weapons all across the board between T-Hop and A.J. Green and Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore. They are a solid bunch on the offensive side of the ball. Like you said, they got some playmakers up front. They got Budda Baker in the back. Yeah. They have Patrick Pete. No, they don't have. I'm sorry.
No, he went to Minnesota.
Yeah, he was there before. But the Cardinals are my 4. Who you got?
So 4. I actually got the Cleveland Browns. Okay. And their front 7. Unluckily, my girlfriend's mom is a huge Bears fan, Chicago Bears, so I had to sit through that miserable game. But I mean, their defensive line, Myles Garrett obliterated that Chicago Bears offense. Justin Fields, I can't even remember, passes that he completed. They were so far few and in between. But that front 7 just dismantled the Chicago Bears. Part of that's Matt Nagy as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of Matt Nagy at all. I think he should probably be fired. The Cleveland Browns, man, the defense really showed up in that game, and they're always going to bring that steady running attack. Kareem Hunt, it was his game against Chicago. He went the hell off. OBJ's back. He looked – I know you may not have seen him play. No. He was making sense. His numbers didn't jump out of the box score. I think he had like 5 catches, 60 yards, something of that nature. The catches that he was making, tapping the toes on the sidelines, in the corner, he looks very healthy. He looks very good, and I'm only expecting him to pick up speed as he comes back from that injury. But you just talk about adding another weapon to that offense. It already has a crazy ground and pound going there with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was catching passes out of the backfield. Nick Chubb didn't even really go off in that game. They didn't really need it. Baker Mayfield wasn't forced to do too much in that game, and their defense actually controlled the whole thing. JOK, the rookie linebacker, man, he's really impressing. A lot of Eagles fans are talking about him and Asante Samuel Jr. right now, who the Eagles passed up for Landon Dickerson, which we'll see with Landon Dickerson. Obviously, we need him right now, so I can't say much about it right now. But, the Browns are looking good, man. That's my number 4.
I don't got much to add. That's my number 5. So right now you have all of my 5, and we'll see who you go with 5 and see if we had the same power rankings.
Interesting enough, man. I struggled with this one because I just didn't feel comfortable pushing Kansas City out of my top 5 despite what's going on.
Yeah.
I went ahead and did it anyways. I went with my gut. I went Buffalo Bills here.
Wow, I'm right there with you. 5 power rankings.
We don't have to go too much into it. I already said my part on the Bills earlier when you addressed them. But they're my number 5 right now. The reason I put them over Kansas City, their defense is better. It's as simple as that for me. Josh Allen is playing at an elite status. To the point where I'm not able to put Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs' offense over theirs. I can't do that right now, the way the Chiefs are turning the ball over. So Buffalo Bills round out my top 5 there.
Yeah, man, same here. So in different orders, the Turf Talk top 5 power rankings.
Right.
We'll put out a tweet after the show. Rams, Bucks, Bills, Cardinals, Browns. That's my order. Scotty's got a little bit flipped 3 through 5, but all in all, very similar. And guys, I promise we don't share throughout preparation. We come on here and we give our honest take. Some honorable mentions I have The Packers have turned things up since
Packers look good.
Week 1 beatdown. Rodgers looks rejuvenated. We questioned his want to play after Week 1's performance, and you saw his reaction on Sunday night against the Niners. He's back. The Chargers, as I said earlier. What'd you say?
That throw in the corner of the end zone to Valdez-Scantling. Oh my God! It just makes you look. That was like one of my things when I'm watching the Eagles and Cowboys. I'm like, these motherfuckers can't do that. Like, I'm not settling until I get that. Like, Aaron Rodgers. Like, the dude, he's one of the GOATs, and it's a pleasure to watch him week in and week out.
I got the Chargers in my honorable mentions, and I didn't, we didn't prepare honorable mentions. I was just like, oh, there's like a couple teams I could put in here. They're looking really good. They knock out the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs are probably in those mentions as well because they are still the Chiefs.
What about the Raiders?
Yep, they are last on my list for honorable mention. They look really good. They have beaten, the Steelers, the Ravens. Now they ditched they ended up allowing Miami to come back with a backup quarterback and take them to overtime, but they ultimately won the game. So those are my honorable mentions. All right, one last new segment we added to the show today. We're doing that tonight, correct?
I don't know. It's kind of a time crunch. We might want to jump to the
we'll
preview.
Leave it to Sunday. We'll leave it to Sunday. So we're going to start doing a little. Here you go, people. Rookie check-ins every 3-4 weeks. Scotty and I are going to check in on the rookie draft class this year and just give our a hand selected few that we think are playing really well. But we'll get to that Sunday because you are correct. It's after 8 and this game starts shortly.
Got to get the preview of the biggest matchup of the year in. So
let's get to this Jags-Bengals matchup. Again, not another game that pops out at you. But there are some things you can look at today. Obviously, I love Joe Burrow. Yeah. I like the weapons that the Bengals have. Obviously, you have the storyline of Trevor Lawrence, who, my man. Listen, I know rookie QBs have been known to throw the ball. Hell, I didn't watch Peyton Manning do it, but we all know what one of the greatest to ever do it did his rookie year as far as turning the football over.
Yeah.
Trevor, my guy, protect the ball a bit. 2+ interceptions in his first 3 games. Protect the ball, Trevor. And if you're the Jags, where the hell has James Robinson been? I know he finally reached the end zone last week, but where has he been? I'm not going to lie. They are not a good team. They don't have a great offensive line. Their defense is not good. But let's not act like their offense is awful. You got James Robinson and Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde's in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You got a DJ Chark. You got a Laviska Shenault. You got a Marvin Jones. So, you're not a highly talented team, but you're not like, I don't know. They're probably not like a bottom 3 roster, right? At least offensively.
Yeah, offensively, no. Their secondary is beat up right now. They just traded away C.J. Henderson, which make sense. It is a better right. You know what I mean, though. They're sitting here shuffling around their secondary, but let's ship C.J. Henderson out. It is a better matchup, I would say, than last Thursday. You're looking at the Texans, and then CMC ends up going out early in the game.
My God, dude, I can't have nice things in fantasy football. Now I don't have them. I don't have them in DSM's league, but I got him last year with the number 1 overall pick in a league that I'm in, and he gets hurt in week 2, and he plays all of like a game and a half for me. Now I got him in my family league this year with the number 1 overall pick, and he does like a skip and a hop out of bounds, doesn't even get touched, and I'm watching the game, and I see him go like this to call for someone to come in as he's jogging off. I'm like, yo, it's first down. Why is this man asking to come out? Then first down goes by. Then second down goes by. Then third down. And I'm like, okay. And he doesn't come out for the next round. I go on Twitter. I'm like, Jesus, man. But that's last Thursday's matchup. Yeah, this one's a little bit better. I'm obviously interested in watching the quarterback play out. Yeah, you're right. Except
CMC messed up every single one of my parlays last Thursday. I had no interest in watching the game after that.
Yeah. Except I am 3-0 in DSM's league, so we'll talk about that after this week. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. But obviously, we got the quarterbacks to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. The QB matchup: Lawrence versus Burrow. You're talking about 2 of the youngest, elite talents coming into the NFL. Trevor Lawrence, while he's struggled a bit, he's thrown the ball a lot, but he did come in highly touted. And one of the questions you'll have for Trevor Lawrence, throughout this season is how does he bounce back from losses and consecutive losses? He never had to deal with that at Clemson. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. As we mentioned earlier, Joe Burrow's looking healthy. He's got weapons around him. T. Higgins didn't even play last week against the Steelers. He's not playing tonight. Still got Boyd. You still got Jamar Chase out there. Joe Mixon has looked really good this season so far. And it looks like it's all coming together, man. Their defense looks pretty good. It shouldn't be too much of a challenge tonight against the Jags. I'd imagine Trevor Lawrence is going to end up throwing the ball a lot again. But yeah, I'm looking directly at the quarterback matchup. That's what you're tuning in for. That's where my parlays are based around. So yeah, I can't wait to just see these two. I haven't seen Trevor Lawrence play, in a full game just yet. So I am looking forward to watching it. And then of course, Joe Burrow, but anything else that you want to touch on with this team? We mentioned the defense of the Bengals looks all right earlier. Got to see them against, a real matchup.
Yeah.
Before we
so here's the thing. And now that I got thinking, I got some shit. Jeremy, if you're still watching, drop a comment below. So speaking of quarterbacks, I do have something to say. It has nothing to do with this segment, but as far as tonight's matchup goes, I'm watching the quarterback matchup. I guess for Cincinnati is more appealing. Obviously, they're the better team. But what I'll say is, can Cincinnati make any noise? I mean, obviously, we know the Browns are in that division, and the Ravens, while struggling early, they did beat the Chiefs, and we know that they still have a good defense, even though they're beat up, and they got Lamar. Can the Bengals, after watching them beat up on a division rival in their building, after watching them beat the Vikings week 1, I think Joe Burrow is elite or going on elite. I love everything about his
best quarterback in that division.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's a question.
Yeah, so I think I'm looking to see if Cincinnati, if you can take care of business against a bad Jags team. Obviously, that doesn't make you a good football team, but it's what you're supposed to do. So I guess I'm just seeing if Cincinnati has something to them this year. They win tonight; they're 3-1. I know it's against the Jags, but they will be 3-1 after tonight if they do come away with a win. Jeremy, speaking of quarterbacks, though, my man, I know we talked about this on the DSM draft show. Zach Wilson's not good. No, Scotty wasn't there for that. That's why he's a little hesitant to understand what I'm talking about. We had a little back and forth about Zach Wilson on the draft live stream. Not good. So that's all I really wanted to say. I think that wraps up.
That I just wanted to throw one more thing in there just about rookie quarterbacks so far, and it's amazing that Mac Jones looks like the best rookie quarterback so far this season. But it just shows you what stability looks like with the New England Patriots, what they can do for a rookie quarterback compared to some of these other disorganized franchises. But yeah, Zach Wilson has not looked good.
Something else that crossed my mind over this week. It got me hopping on soon. No, we got to get the hell off this show. We're going
we're getting out of here, man. We got to go catch
Scotty texted me earlier today and said, shouldn't it be too long of a show? We're going on an hour and 10 minutes. It's never quick here. We'll give our predictions and hop on out of here and do some quick plugs. But it's just another quick thought about week 3 is, listen, you can't judge the kid who was his first start. He got thrown into the Wolves. Browns defense, Nagy and that offensive line in front of him. But could you imagine if Justin Fields ain't it? He struggled in week 3. And listen, it's not on him. It's that offensive line. It's Matt Nagy, the Browns D-line. But just imagine if he's not it.
He is an Ohio State quarterback.
That franchise, I got no answers for you. I got no answers for you if this kid ain't it. But yeah, all right, Scott. Predictions
for Andy Dalton.
Predictions for tonight. I'm trying to go 4-0 on Thursday Night Football. And to do that, I will not be selecting the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going with Joe Burrow, the best quarterback in the AFC North, and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, man, and maybe that's a conversation for a different day. But Joe Burrow is that guy in the AFC North, and I know Ravens fans will pull their hair out.
Bring it, bro. Bring it. Because guess what, Ravens fans?
Quarterbacks here.
Guess what, Ravens fans? I got a way longer list than Joe Burrow of quarterbacks better than Lamar Jackson. I got a much longer list. So we can have that conversation whenever anybody wants to.
What you got for tonight, man?
Yeah, definitely not today. We'll get to that though. That'll be a lot of fun. But I think that is going to wrap up tonight's show. Win or prediction? Like what do you mean?
For tonight's game?
The Bengals.
Oh, you don't got a score?
No.
No, I'm not going to lie to you.
I have no idea. I have no idea how this game's going to go. I think the over set at like 46, and I have no idea. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like 60 points total or if it's going to be like 17 total. I don't know. Okay, I'll give you 24 Cincinnati, 13 Jacksonville.
Okay. 24-13, so 11-point win.
Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, DJ Chark, anytime touchdown scores for your prop betting people.
Gotcha. So
don't tell me though. I'm on a cold streak.
I was thinking about getting risky tonight, and picking the Jags for their first win. Hell no, I'm not doing that. I can't risk my record on the season.
Hold on. You know how you're on a very cold streak, or maybe you're just a bad better at, is when your gambling site keeps throwing you free bets.
Promos. Keep betting.
I got another one. Today. It's just a $10 free bet for your Jersey people on PointsBet. And I just threw something crazy together. We'll see. Yeah. It's what's gonna happen, Jeremy. I'll miss out on one.
Something. Now it's the most obvious one. Joe Mixon won't score. He's the one that.
Yeah, probably the highest.
And Boyd,
I'm pretty sure Joe Mixon has the highest odds to score a touchdown.
Yeah, pretty sure
he won't find the end zone. I'm sure. I'm sure the backup will come in and get the ball on a 2-yard line or something. When that's the only prop that I need to still hit. But anyway, Scott, what's your score tonight?
Real quick, 27-17 Bengals. I'll leave it at that. I don't really need to explain it. Not a signature win, but a primetime win for the Bengals.
All right, guys. I think that is going to wrap up tonight's episode, this Thursday edition of Turf Talk. Stay tapped into DSM Media on Twitter at DSM_media, as we will be right back here on Sunday morning, 10 a.m., getting you guys ready for more of Week 4 and an Eagles versus Kansas City Chiefs pregame show. We better bring a laundry list of keys to victory for that one. But as always, DSM Media, Turf Talk, every show on here, the entire network is brought to you by Manscaped. So use our promo code DSM on manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. And lastly, last housekeeping thing. DFS, no pun intended, will be live tonight at 9:00. Our first quadruple header that we had today. Starting with the Faithful Fanatic show. I had ESPN's Paul Hembo on the show earlier, so go check that out on our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Diamond Talk with our guys Jeremy and George was on at 4:30 today. Obviously, Turf Talk, and then DFS, no pun intended, at 9 tonight. And merch, guys, we finally got some merch out. TeePublic, go into our link tree at DSM_media on our Twitter. And you can find our TeePublic account in there. Our stores comes up, and we got some Turf Talk gear, some DSM Media gear, and some Faithful Fanatics gear already uploaded. I believe there's like 10 designs or so far, a couple different options. And we will be having more merch added to the store shortly. So you want to support DSM, you want to support different shows, some hosts, go check out our merch. Go use our promo code DSM on Manscaped. And that is that. Scott, am I missing anything?
No. Just have a good night. Enjoy the game. And we will see you bright and
enjoy
early
the game.
Morning.
Yeah. I'll try.
I hope all of your parlays hit.
All right. I know this is rough to do, but can I get a go Birds before we get going?
Go Birds. I'm back
here.
By Sunday, we're winning.
Here's mine. Go Birds. Have a nice night, everybody.